This is Darby Allin. Subscribe to Omega Luke.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am here with my guest today. As you can see, it is the incredible Darby Allin. How are you doing, my man?
I'm all right. I'm a little banged up after the weekend, but besides that, life is beautiful, my friend.
Indeed, you had your first match of 2019, is that correct?
Yeah, I've had two matches so far. One against the great Sasuke.
Oh, interesting.
That was-
I believe also it was your birthday the day before we were recording this. How did you have a good birthday?
Yes and no. Well, it started off. I started in Minneapolis at the show, and then I flew home, and I was too beat to shit and tired because I got no sleep. That I decided to sleep on the airport floor for about 5 hours. Uh, then I woke up and met my wife Priscilla Kelly, and we had a beautiful evening.
Amazing. How is Priscilla? She good?
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's wonderful.
Good to hear it. First of all, Darby, thank you very much for joining me today on the podcast. I first heard of you sort of early 2018, mainly because I've only really got into indie wrestling sort of late 2017. But I was instantly drawn to sort of like your unique look, your unique style. Can you explain to the people listening who Darby Allin, the wrestler, is, and how much is it part of who you really are?
I would say it's pretty much me in real life because I want to be this way as I am in the ring a lot in life, but socially it wouldn't be acceptable. People would think you're a fucking kook. But I feel like I am a fucking kook and I want to go crazy. And wrestling rings and mosh pits are the only thing I really feel like I can fucking breathe as a human being. Besides that, I feel like a caged animal 24/7 because you see how people act. They look at you like you're strange over the littlest of things, and I don't like people. So.
It's kind of answer. It's a very dark and sort of mysterious portrayal that you perform, and I think it's why I'm very drawn to you. It's very sort of, as a fan, I love the mystique, and I sort of see it as like an Alistair Black mixed with like a '90s Taker. Is that sort of how you see it from your eyes, being that it's you that is the character?
No, I really, to be honest, I'm just some skate punk kid that if I seem like I don't, if I seem mysterious, like I'm standoffish, is because I am. I'm a very introvert human being as it is. You can put me in a room of like hundreds of people and I'll be in the corner just like by myself, not wanting to talk to anybody because I just found out a long time ago that a lot of people are just very selfish and want their own needs in life. They don't really give a fuck about you. They'll fuck you over. They'll try to steal your girlfriends. They'll fucking steal your money. It don't fucking matter. Humans are pieces of shit. So if I am how I am in the ring, how I look all pissed off, because that's how I am
So
in
you're
real
also
life.
like incredibly good at your promos and stuff that we've seen. Is that really just you just talking then straight from the heart? It's not
Yeah.
really you having to put on an act.
No, you give me something. You're gonna see my new Evolve interview that I'm gonna be shooting tomorrow at the film studio and stuff like that, with my personal video cameraman because a lot of fucking fools in wrestling are too goddamn lazy to film something besides on their phone. Hello, this is Darby Allin. I'm mad. Come January 11th, I will have my revenge. I'm a professional wrestler. We're all the fucking same. Go fuck yourselves. Like seriously, everyone's so lazy, and like this gives me a time to really be myself and get creative because I went to film school and I dropped out for wrestling, and then it gives me a chance. And everybody's so they have the a lot of people are just so lazy with their creativity and filming it on their phone. Get off your fucking asses and do something. Like, so I'm renting out a studio with my friend who films for Thrasher magazine, and we're going to film a professional video for this match coming up with Fabian Artner. And yeah, I hold a lot of what I'm gonna say tomorrow dear to my heart. It's not an act; it's how I feel. And I am no goddamn fucking fanboy. You put me in a ring with somebody, I don't give a shit what their name is or what company they wrestle for. I don't give a shit because this is where I'm making a living. Like this is my life here. I'm not like this isn't like a fun, oh yeah, like hobby for me. Like, I need to be in the spots they are. So when I get to wrestle for them, wrestling them doesn't pay my bills. Like I need to like go out there and actually like build my name up. I can't just be in the ring with someone from WWE. That shit doesn't matter to me.
Fair play. I like how you mentioned the Evolve sort of like interviews and stuff that you do, because I think one of the things that I find so impressive by Evolve is their sort of mini documents that they do, the documentaries that they do, and we get to see like your passion and skateboarding from the mini doc that we seen. I believe what was it? Trying to think what it's called again. But anyway, we sort of seen Risk It All. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? The Evolve one, the mini
Yeah.
doc we seen. We see like your other passion, your skateboarding passion, and how you're literally skateboarding off huge sculptures and stuff like that, and landing on the concrete floors. Is that sort of, you mentioned how that's your sort of style of wrestling? Is that you day to day? You love taking risks. You love just living in the day as it is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. To be honest, I'm not even really a wrestling fan. I just like to like live life, and I'm more passionate about skateboarding and filmmaking than I am wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with skateboarding and filmmaking, we have this huge world of creativity, but wrestling, everybody is this small-minded puppet. Like you look at the tampon thing Priscilla did, and a lot of people are like bitching and whining about it. But like with film, you can have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But in wrestling, it's like you must follow these rules, young man. Back in my day, we never fuck your back in the day, because I'm living my back in the day right now. I don't give a shit, and I like the creativity to be who the hell I am. I'm not a caged animal. I never was, and I never will be. So yeah, I don't really like wrestling that much because everybody is on breathing down your ass 24/7 trying to fuck with your creativity. And yeah, so I'd rather go off in real life and jump off buildings and do stuff and be who the hell I am. So I feel like the stuff that I've done in my life, I feel like like in wrestling I really can't talk about, because it's like, hey, why don't you just play your little role as the creepy little dude? No, man. If you knew who I was before wrestling, the shit that I was doing before wrestling, everybody would lose their shit. So if they think the tampon thing was bad, they haven't seen shit. So
Speaking of that tampon thing, which I think is great because everyone knows she didn't, use an actual used tampon. Obviously, that would just be extremely weird. But how is Priscilla sort of reacting? Because her Twitter has literally blown up these last few days about it.
she's having a good time. She thinks it's hilarious because, like I said earlier, we come from the world of just like being ourselves in our private time. So the moment we share any of our private selves into the wrestling world as like a joke,
Yeah.
everyone loses their shit. So it's like, okay, that's why we have to really like, she's doing awesome though. She thinks it's all hilarious. She don't give a shit. If you knew her, you would know that she does not give a shit about any of this stuff. Like Gail Kim, Tessa Blanchard, all those fools, they can say, "Oh, she's killing this women's revolution." No, she's creating a women's revolution, because if you look at what the men have done in wrestling for far too long, the gross shit, whether it's DX pouring like shit on Vince McMahon, or whether it's Joey Ryan's ass and the lollipop or the cock thing, all this like shit for men has gone on for so long, and then the moment a woman wants to do one little thing, everyone loses their mind about it. It's like, let's just talk about equal rights here for a second. And oh well, it's not equal rights, that just was a nasty ass thing, that has nothing to do with equal rights. Yeah, no, because the men things are also nasty and vulgar, but everyone thinks it's haha. But the moment a woman wants to do some bullshit, it's all hell breaks loose. So go fuck yourselves,
Yeah,
whatever.
could not agree more. You sort of adapted your style, your wrestling style, to sort of your skateboarding way of life, the risk taking, like I mentioned earlier. Very high flying risk taking, but it's also very unique to any other sort of risk taking wrestler, and incredibly entertaining as well. Is it something that you're intentionally doing that's so different to the others that's risk taking, or is it something that just comes natural to you?
Oh, I think it comes natural because, like I said, life, it's the beauty of pain with like the selling, where I feel like a lot of risk takers, They're gonna do a lot of like crazy things, like the lucha libre people. They're gonna do crazy things and sell it for a split second and then go on with their match. Where like my whole life, like just from skateboarding and the stunts that I've done, why would you want to like throw away the pain in someone's eyes like an instant, like, oh, let's move on to the next big thing? Like, no, selling's a masterpiece if you want to go there, you know?
Yeah,
So I don't know why people like, and I think the difference with me in my wrestling is I don't fly to look pretty, I fly to hurt.
yeah,
So I don't want my wrestling to look too dancey, like basing with like the lucha libre and stuff like that. I love lucha libre, but it's definitely I don't want my vibe to be like someone's basing me for a side head scissors or like give me a satellite pop up DDT, like because at the end of the day, to me that looks too dancey, like you're working together. I don't want to look like I'm working with the guy. I want to look like I'm hurting the motherfucker.
yeah. No, good point.
I jump on him with a coffin drop because it's just my body using a fucking weapon. I don't need to do a 10 rotations to hurt you. I will just drop on you. It's the same result. I don't think the extra 630 is going to add much damage compared to me just dropping my ass on you.
I gotta admit, I love the coffin drop. It is one of my favorite moves that you do. I must admit. I want to ask you about your tattoo that you have on your chest, which we can pretty much see there. Um,
Oh,
Nothing's over until you're underground. To me,
yeah.
that turns out to be an incredibly inspirational quote, considering it's related to you as well as a wrestler. What does it mean to you?
It means lots of things. Like, obviously, you know the deal with my uncle and the drunk driving shit.
Yeah,
Um, Besides that, it means like there's so much people growing up and then they're like, oh, say I'm 32 years old, like, oh man, I can't live my dream that I had as a child. I'm 32, it's too late, whatever. I just got to have a normal life and normal job. Bullshit. And it's like, no, that's not the truth. Like, you can live your dreams, you can do anything because literally life's not over till you're dead. Because I think of it like there's like some people who want to be in a Hollywood movie and they live their whole life wanting to be in a Hollywood movie and they never got the chance. And then finally, when they're like 60 years old, they get their big break and they can like
yeah.
be like this like person in this like movie. And it's like, dude, nothing's over till you're dead. Don't throw in the towel just because you're like you don't feel like it can happen because it can if you put your mind to it. Like, just don't fucking settle for less in life. That's all.
No, I agree. It sort of, the way I say it's inspirational is because it is a case of, if there's a job which you've always wished that you could do, or there's a passion that you wish you could do for a living, it's a case of why just give up? There's always a chance that it could possibly happen, and that's sort of, the way that you've put across of your filmmaking and stuff like that. Something that you can continue to do outside of wrestling, and you could, after wrestling, continue it and make a full career out of it.
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said, I dropped out of film school for wrestling because I knew with film school I could always go back, but wrestling there was kind of an age restriction with bullshit. Like you don't want to like be the guy who's trying to start wrestling his career when he's like 35, even though like guys like DDP have done such. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But just for me, growing up, I didn't want to spend my years, like my 20s, behind a camera. I wanted to be in front of it type thing.
yeah.
But like I said, I dropped out of film school because they weren't letting me be myself also. You know, I was making some questionable films, but
I find that very hard to believe, Darby.
but they wouldn't let me be me. And I was like, you know what, dude? I drove across country to go to your damn film school. Don't mess with my artistic side. If you're not gonna let me be me, I'll drop out. And I dropped out. And that's why I'm saying I'm trying to do this with wrestling, but when someone breathes down your back and doesn't let you be you, I get a little testy.
Yeah.
So
The thing is now, though, you set yourself up in such a platform because you are so loved as your type of wrestler and your whole persona that you're giving off, that when wrestling does come to an end to you, as hopefully that's long in the future because you're very entertaining, but you can then create your own film the way you want it to be, and people are going to support you because of who you are, and you have a lot of followers from the way you are.
yeah, Yeah, like that's my goal. Like for example, Craigslist. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with
yeah.
Craigslist? All right. I was gonna make a documentary when I was in film school about Craigslist fetishes and like these crazy fetishes that the people have. And then my roommate at my apartment complex that lived beneath me was he wasn't a roommate. He was just a dude who lived beneath me in the apartment complex. He was Jimmy Kimmel's cousin,
Oh no
and
way.
but he was total crackhead, black sheep of the family, Jimmy Kimmel's cousin. He wasn't like, like a good guy. He was a scumbag.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, and I was like, oh, he's like, he would always knock on my door and he had no money because no one in his family, they knew he was going to buy like meth or some shit. So like, they only paid his rent. That's it. So he'd always bang on my doors. You got any money for beer? You got any money for beer? I'm like, well, I'm straight edge, so I don't have beer, but I'll give you like $3 if you want to do like crazy challenges. So he would do these crazy challenges, but at the end of the day, he was going to be the guy in the Craigslist fetish movie that did all these crazy fetishes with the people, and like we were gonna like make it like a documentary. So it wasn't gonna be some porno. It was just gonna be like a funny documentary about people's like Craigslist fetishes. But that fool ended up going to jail uh, before we could start filming. So it kind of weird. But for example, like he's like, "You got like $4? I want to like buy a thing of beer." And I was like, "All right, well, you got to do a challenge." And so he didn't flush his toilet for a week straight, just shit and piss in it. And then he
Oh,
put his face in it and gurgled around the water. And then like, yeah, and we filmed it too. So I had the videos and all this stuff like that. And he would do like obscene shit like that, like just drink shit water for like money and just crazy, crazy stuff. But like he ended up there's like this lady that he lived next door to. He ended up fighting with her in the courtyard at the apartment complex and he punched her in the face. And then
oh,
she ran in her apartment and he tried to like break in her house to get to her because he wanted to keep fighting her. Some crazy shit. And then he ended up going back into his house and grabbing the vacuum and breaking the wall to climb through the hole to get to
fucking
her.
hell.
So before he could break the wall all the way, the cops came and took him away. And then he would always leave his apartment door unlocked, so I'd walk in there, and then the fucking vacuum was sticking sideways out of the through the wall, like just there, perfect in the wall, like sideways. And then he would also like he'd just like open his door and like have cat food in the living room, and all these stray cats would come in, and he'd lock them in and like keep a bunch of stray cats in his apartment.
That
So
God sounds so
let
weird.
I let all the stray cats out. I'm like, be free, like get the fuck out of here before this. So
Oh, fucking hell. Thanks for sharing that. That was nuts. Um,
yeah, I just figure these stories that no one gets to hear ever. So
2018 was pretty huge year for Darby Allin. You wrestled well over 70 times for 25 different companies, which is pretty insane. Do you consider 2018 sort of a breakout year for you in your career?
yeah, definitely, definitely. Because the first couple of years, like I got to evolve, man. Like when I had 30 matches, I was wrestling for like a year,
Yeah,
and I really honestly did not know what I was doing as a wrestler. All I knew was how to sell. So I
yeah.
got to evolve because of my selling. It wasn't because I didn't really have any moves or anything. I didn't know what I was doing. So if you look back at my early evolve shit, I was getting my ass kicked by Ethan Page. And I broke my arm he hit me with a shovel and he broke my arm. And then just this crazy, crazy shit that like if you look back at that stuff and people are like, oh, this guy's just a stuntman, he doesn't know how to wrestle. It's because I didn't know how to wrestle. I relied on that shit because I was trying to protect my ass and like get noticed. But then I lived in my car and actually trained my ass off and learned how to wrestle. And 2018 was the first real year I feel like it was breaking through to people. I put all this hard work into it and it was finally breaking through. So yeah, 2018 was definitely a breakout year.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I got to agree with that. I want to get to your career and evolve in a sec, but 2018 you wrestled for my favorite company right now, which is Progress Wrestling. How similar do you see Evolve and Progress? Because to me, they have such similarities in very different aspects towards American indie wrestling and English indie wrestling.
see, I don't know. It's hard because there is such a big difference though that I feel like there's something in the UK that was brewing up there with the people, the fans. Like people were going ape shit
Yeah,
at like Progress, where like I feel like Evolve. never really like the fans never reached that like wild like like fuck yeah
Maybe
like
like a PWG.
yes, like a PWG. And
Yeah,
like of course you want it to be like that wherever you wrestle, but it just never reached that. And I don't know, it's a weird thing, you know what I mean? You can't really you can't pinpoint on like really, but I feel like the big difference is the energy in the room
yeah,
with the people, because Laboom, where we run and evolve, is like has that energy, but elsewhere it's hard to like feel that like next level adrenaline, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting thing because yeah, I don't know, even just doing the progress shows over Mania weekend last April, you could just feel the difference. I
yeah,
think it has that vibe to it. I don't know. It's weird to say,
yeah.
So
How
whatever.
fun was doing the Thunder Bastard match at Chapter 66
Oh,
for Progress?
it was fun until I got my fucking severe concussion halfway through the match, and that night I was bleeding from the brain and had to be rushed to the hospital. But before that, it was fun. But shit happens. So
Fair enough. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that being very nice at all. PWG, like we just mentioned, is another incredible company that gets outrageous praise on the American Indies. You took part in the Battle of Los Angeles weekend, the bowler weekend. How did you find that weekend? As it is something, and is it something that you want to do again this year?
yes, it's of course it's something I pride myself because I look at the locker rooms, and there's a lot of companies where feel like sometimes you go to and it's a friendship championship wrestling. Oh look, that guy's only here because he's friends with this guy. That guy's only here because he's friends with the promoter. This guy, that blah, blah, blah. You look at PWG, it's the best of the best, and that's where I want to be. I don't want to be in a company where there's fucking ass kissers and people begging, like, hey, can you put the word in for me? Well, you're not even that good, but I will because you're my boy.
Mm,
Fuck that. It's the best of the best in that locker room, and that's where I feel I need to be to get better. So, of course, I want to be in that every single time.
yeah.
It makes you step up your shit, so whatever.
Did you see it as sort of a big achievement then, getting asked to do the PWG Battle of Los Angeles weekend with that theory?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It to be considered up there with all the people, the top tier talent, that's all I've ever wanted to be because like I said, this is what I'm living for. This is my career. This isn't fun with the boys on Saturday. This is me paying my bills and being happy with my wife. It isn't ha 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 ha. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I want to be in the best of the best. So yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment.
Okay, so let's talk about Evolve now, which is part of the WWN network. Really quite an incredible company. Like I say, I see it as the American version of Progress to me, which is why I love it. Would you say Evolve is like your home right now in professional wrestling?
Yes, because I'm signed there.
Yeah,
Of course, I have a contract there. So, yes, it's top priority, and I feel like it was the place where I could really do my stories because I love storytelling and stuff. So, it was a place like that had consistent monthly stories.
yeah.
And of course, so yeah, I would consider it my home. So,
Because what I really like about Evolve, like you said, is the consistent stories, and you've been a massive part of that this year. I think one of the reasons why I sort of really checking out Evolve was Cultaholic, which is sort of like a wrestling news on YouTube, and they kept on singing the praises of yourself at these Evolve shows. Every time there was an Evolve show, they talk about how good it was, and your name just kept popping up every time. Did you notice this year that you as a wrestler was getting more and more popular because of the Evolve matches you were having?
um, yes and no, because I feel like it was getting popular, but then it's like a double-sided coin. Like everybody's like, yes, I've seen highlights of your matches. I haven't seen the full matches that Evolve. I've seen highlights, and I feel like um, I want a lot of my matches like the Walter match, for example, or
Yeah,
the Saber match. all these, I want them to be put on YouTube for free
Yeah.
because, I want people to see it because I don't want people just to see like little highlights. I want them to see the whole match. And I think a lot of people will watch something that's put in their face for free. But I feel like that's better for me right now because I am still building my name very much. And you can only hear so much of these mentions of these matches, and then people are like, I really don't. People are gonna like not want to pay. You know what I mean? It's like a weird thing. People just want to like scam and like get their free wrestling. But I feel like at the end of the day, if I can have some of my what I felt it was my breakout matches for free on YouTube, it would help me. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
good
But
for us as fans because some people can't afford to pay for all these networks. They get to see the likes of you for free that way. So yeah, I definitely understand that. You've beaten some incredible names this year, and some insane matches as well. Matt Riddle being one who was a big part of Evolve for so long. What's the feeling when you see guys like that leave the company for WWE, the likes of WWE? Is it sort of a sad feeling because you're having such great matches with them and have incredible like chemistry with them, or is it sort of an excitement feeling because you get a bigger opportunity then for the talents around you?
Definitely the second one. I don't get sad when I see people leave. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy for them, and that's cool.
Yeah,
Everything's amazing, and it's just about continuing to step up and everybody like get their shit together and put. One guy leaves, another guy comes in, and the weird thing is, I had my Evolve tryout when I had like 30 matches back. Back at during WrestleMania 32 weekend. And I looked at the locker room and was like, Jesus, this locker room is stacked.
yeah,
That night, the first time I ever wrestled at Evolve, it was main evented by Ricochet and Osprey, and then you had everybody else that's like crazy names on the show, and I look at it, I'm like, shit. Today, I am the longest active Evolve roster member, and back then I was just so new, and it makes you like I said, like I had to fucking step up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So like that's what I want from other people.
yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, it
You
must be
know,
great seeing like you just said then, the main event when you first went to Evolve is Ricochet Osprey. Now that is a killer match because of how big those two are now. Now it's you that's in the seat of these main events. Is it a very weird feeling now?
no, I wouldn't expect any less. I put so much into this. I put so much on myself to achieve, and I would hope that I'm in that spot right now.
I'm glad to hear it. We've mentioned, you sort of mentioned there the link to WWE that Evolve has. We've seen you go up against Velveteen Dream, Mustafa Ali, Cassius Ohno, Roderick Strong, all of those matches since September. How does that feel in the ring with those guys of that caliber and being trusted to have these matches? Is it a big achievement for you?
No, not at all. Because I've wrestled guys like Pentagon Jr., Jeff Cobb, the list goes on. It doesn't matter where they're from.
Yeah. I,
They're not any more talented in my eyes than someone who's been killing themselves like a Jeff Cobb
yeah.
to
You've had
make
some
his name.
incredible matches with Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't pride myself. Like I said, I'm not a fanboy. I don't give a shit. I want to be where they are, to live comfortably, to have a good life with my wife, to not, because like on the indies, you break your leg, oh, you're shit out of luck. Go sell some shirts. Maybe some fans will help you support that. But you're in a top tier company, you break your leg, you're getting paid still. I want to have that comfortability. And like I said, I'm not a fucking fanboy. I want to be where they are
Yeah.
because I want to have that comfortability with my life. I had my first year broke like when in Evolve, when I broke my elbow, fucking cracked my skull, and then like I have these hospital bills to this day from that shit. And it's not fun. It's not fun. So when people shit on somebody for going to WWE, somebody shits on somebody for signing a Ring of Honor, somebody shits on somebody, for going anywhere. Dude, you put yourself in our shoes. We're going to break our bones and body for this shit. Of course we want to be like comfortable living.
Yeah.
It's just like, Jesus, people quit being so selfish, you know?
No,
It
that's
fucking
fair enough.
sucks, dude. Hospital bills blow ass, man.
So, like I mentioned, I'd even struggle to pick really a top five best Darby Allin matches in Evolve from 2018 myself. There's too many that I've really enjoyed this year. Do you have a favourite match from Evolve in 2018 that you've been involved in?
Walter,
Walter.
definitely Walter. Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Do you
hands down.
enjoy facing someone as big, like because obviously you're not the biggest of wrestlers. You've mentioned yourself before. I think you said when you were 18 you weighed less than 150 pounds. Do you
Yes,
enjoy the huge matches with the huge guys?
yes, definitely. It's just it's like obviously you get that Dave and Goliath bullshit,
Yeah,
whatever they call, but it's fun. It's like it's the best way you're gonna get your money's worth of Darby Allin because, like I said, selling is a beauty art form, and I don't like to really like do like cruiserweight type matches where it's like a sprint
yeah.
because I like to slow down and sell and show the
Tell a
pain because
story.
yes, storytelling, you know what I mean? And that's like it's the best. It's fun. So I'd say definitely Walter. Definitely Walter.
No, I'd agree. I love that match. I've got a couple of Patreons who have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind me asking on behalf of them. Courtney Summers, who, by the way, is a big fan of yours. She talks about you quite a lot. My top Patreon member as well. She has two questions. One's very dark and one is slightly a lot more happier. Which would you like first?
Give me the dark.
Dark. She wants to know what is the most messed up thing that you've seen in your life.
Shit, probably the drunk driving shit with my uncle, even though I was so young, you know what I mean? I think that's probably the most messed up thing I would say. But yeah, the car accident with my uncle, definitely,
Yeah,
even though like it's like, but yeah, fuck, definitely that.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely that. As I'm
yeah.
saying,
I
like
can imagine. Yeah.
messed up thing. Besides that, it's just like weird shit, like somebody eating a turd. But
No,
yeah,
I think that's a lot more darker. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Anyway, the happier question then. She would also like to know she's a sucker for love, and she'd like to know how you proposed to Priscilla because she said you two are so cute together, and you're like goth couple goals.
yes. It's a fun story, a lovely story. I'm glad you asked. Um, I was in Seattle, and she was flying into Seattle in December, and then I got this nice hotel by the water, and we went in the room, and then we dropped off our bags, and then left. And then while we left, I had my brother and my friend come in and decorate the shit out of the room, like really like romantic with like roses. And unfortunately, we had to use the fake candles because the hotel's like, you're gonna burn down the goddamn hotel, which would have been lovely. But yeah. Anyways, so we got back from our dinner, come back, and then the whole room's dark with like these like the candles and the roses everywhere. And then she's like, "What is this?" At first, she just thought it was gonna be a romantic night, it's just love making. But I was like, "Okay, there's because it was around Christmas time, it was after Christmas, and I was like, okay, there's a gift on the bed, and it was wrapped up, and then she opened it, and it was a painting of her in my blood that I painted. I couple of days before I she flew in, I just painted this. Here, let me grab it right now. Actually, I have the painting. So right here, it's like it says TPK, which is the Priscilla Kelly. Will you
Yep.
marry me? And then there she is, and it's just all in my blood and shit like that. And and then she was like, "What?" And then before she knew it, I was proposing. So yeah, it was romantic. It
That is
was nice.
amazing. Yeah. That is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but also, like you said, the most romantic, knowing who you are as a person from the way you portray yourself. And thank you very much for sharing that as well. I'm sure Courtney's going to be absolutely over the moon for hearing that. Um, Another question is from Mike Errant, who is a big Twitter god, by the way. He's awesome at Twitter, and he's a big supporter of the podcast. And he wants to know what you can. I think you've already answered this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway for Mike. what you consider to be your breakout match, or what the match you suggest people unfamiliar to you, to your work, needs to check out. Would you say it's Walter? Would you say your breakout one is something different?
I would say, because I feel like I had a breakout match prior to Walter.
Yeah.
I would say that would be against like Saber or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in December of like 2 years
Was
ago.
that when Saber was champ?
Yes, but
Yeah.
if you want to go before that, I also had like my Evolve 81 Mania weekend main event with Ethan Page, the Anything Goes match. We killed each other, and I remember that really got people talking. So
Yeah.
either the Saber match or the Ethan Page match. It's hard to decide.
Yeah. Good call. 2019, do you have a wrestling New Year's resolution?
No, just keep going wherever the wind takes me, but like make a decent living with my wife. That's all I really want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna be like, I need to make it here before the end of February. Like I don't really, it doesn't bother me. I just want to be happy and explore the world. And like I said, I always tell Priscilla this, like what really matters in life is comes Monday after the wrestling weekends are over in our personal lives. Like fuck everybody and their drama. Like, that's all that really matters. And that's how I want my 2019 like to be revolved around, is my personal life being healthy
Yeah.
and happy. So
Do you enjoy working with Priscilla, like in the ring, or is it something that, because obviously she is your partner, you sort of worry about or anything like that?
no, it's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. We've tagged together like a couple of times just recently at bar wrestling for the New Year's Eve show that they've had.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And yeah, well, it's a funny story because when Priscilla first went to Evolve, I didn't really know who she was in real life at all.
Yeah.
And Gabe was like, "Hey, we want to put this girl with you, named Priscilla Kelly." I'm like, "Hell no, don't put her with me." Like my whole thing is I'm a loner. I can't have a girl by me.
Yeah.
I need loners. So that's why she went with Austin. You know what I mean? And then so like, but now looking on, I'm like, yeah, let's have her with me.
Yeah.
So we've come full circle. Lovely
You
story.
can't exactly reject your own partner as your actual tag partner because you
Yeah,
want to
it's
keep the
weird
gimmick.
because I would drive like a year straight with her in the van from like Atlanta to New York. It's like 16-hour drive. We'd drive in this company van, and I would never talk to her for like a year straight. Like I never knew her.
Really?
And then randomly one night, it was an Evolve double shot with Progress, and I wasn't booked for that Progress show that evening, so I was gonna go to Times Square, and then I was gonna go by myself. And then she's like, "Hey, I've never seen Times Square. Can I come?" And I was all like, "No, like I don't want to talk to you. Like I don't want to talk to any girls in wrestling. Like screw off." You know what I mean? But then I was like, "Okay, well, because you've never been there and you don't know how to get there, yes, you can come to Times Square."
Yeah. And
So
and then little did
like,
you know you were then
then
proposing.
we had a conversation on the subway train there, and we're like, dude, this girl is nothing like I thought she was.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I talk to her for a year? And then we have so much in common, and now we're fucking married. So.
Yeah. And then you ended up proposing using your own blood.
Yes.
I've got a few quick fire questions if you don't mind. Just 10 quick fire questions. We'll go through them as quick as we can. Number one, who is your favourite ever wrestler?
Rey Mysterio.
Favourite promotion other than Evolve?
PWG.
What is your favourite opponent?
Jeff Cobb.
Best ever Darby Allin match? I feel like Walter, maybe?
Walter.
Yeah.
Or Jeff Cobb from Bola. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Is that the first round match?
Yeah.
Yeah. Opponent you want to face the most that you haven't fought already?
Shit. Pass.
Hottest prospect other than yourself?
Pass.
Priscilla. Let's just say Priscilla, shall we?
Silly.
Favorite match that you weren't involved in?
Just of all time?
Yeah.
Good God. Um, Mankind, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
I feel like you take some of Mankind's traits there.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's funny because like when you said the Rey Mysterio, I answered Rey Mysterio, but it'd be second, Mick Foley,
Yeah,
definitely.
that guy's nuts. If you could win one title this year, what would it be?
Uh, the WWE World Championship,
What would you rather win? Battle of Los Angeles or become Evolve champion?
Battle of Los Angeles.
And final question. Both WWE and All Elite Wrestling are offering you a contract. Who do you choose to go to?
Um, Wherever I'm happiest mentally with my like life and my wife and stuff like that, whatever is best with for that. So I wouldn't know. It just depends on how everything's like set up and like what the schedule and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and what they're offering, of course, that's a big deal.
yeah.
Um, Darby Allin, thank you very much for joining me today. Where can people catch you wrestling in the next few months, and what is your social medias?
Social media is Darby Allin at everything, like literally everything, like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But you can catch me wrestling this weekend. I'm going to uh shit. I'm horrible, man. I don't even going to San Francisco. And then I'm going to Canada and then Seattle. And then next weekend, it's the big Evolve shows. And then after that, I got Northeast Wrestling against Dragon Lee. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun like stuff coming up this month. But you can catch me wherever my Twitter says I'm at. So,
Amazing. Dragon Lee, that's going to be a good match.
yeah, it should be
Well,
fun.
thank you, Darby, very much. I cannot wait to see what you have in store for us in 2019. Thanks again.
All right, man. Thank you.